All right, there's no problems to go with this, but this is just another method for solving a quadratic. The other choices are definitely better, the quadratic formula, factoring, and graphing. But the reason I'm going to show this is so in the next video I can show you where the quadratic formula actually comes from, since that's the one that most people use. So this is called completing the square. And the reason it's called completing the square, we're going to do this process visually where we are going to actually create a square. So we're going to try to figure out what this piece is so that we can add it to the equation to get a square. So the steps look like this, and then I'll show you kind of an example that you can see it happening. And then this is also where I am going to get the steps for taking the equation and turning it into the quadratic formula. So the first thing we want to have is you want that a value to be a 1. So if it's already a 1, sweet. If not, you're going to divide everything by a. So including the b term, the c term, and over here, if it's not already a 0, the d term. Next part, you're going to move the c to the other side. And again, if there's a number here, you're going to combine those numbers together because they should be constants. The tricky part, and this is where the visual part's a little bit helpful, you are then going to cut the b in half. So you can see it down here. If I cut this bx in half, I have half of b and half of b. So it allows me to drop one down so that it looks like that original picture on the title page. And we're going to square it. So when we multiply b over 2 times b over 2, we get b over 2 squared, which is that little square piece that's going to finish or complete the square. When that happens, it actually creates a square, which means it's going to be factorable, and you can find the two side measures, which are going to be x plus b over 2, and then you can finish solving it by using a square root. So if I walk through those same steps, so here's the original problem. We have x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals 0. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that 16 to the other side, because I don't have to divide by a because it's a 1. And so these are algebra tiles. We haven't done those in class, but this thing right here is x by x, or x squared. And because this is x, each one of these is 1, so there's 6 of them, so 6 times x is 6x. So this represents the original equation. So I'm going to go through those steps. After step 1, which we didn't have to do. Step 2, move c to the other side. Okay, it's over there. We're going to cut b, which is this green stuff, in half. We're just going to slide it down here. Okay, we're then going to square it, which is going to give us 9. So 3 times 3 is 9. We add that to the other side because you have to keep it balanced. Now we have a perfect square trinomial over here, something that creates a square, which is x plus 3 and x plus 3. On the other side, we get 25. So we know to undo a square, we can do the square root, which means we get 5, but also negative 5. And then we can solve these two equations by subtracting 3. So if you subtract 3 from 5, you get 2. If you subtract 3 from negative 5, you get negative 8. And those are the two solutions. So this problem also could have been, you could have factored it. The answers would have came out nice. You could have done the quadratic formula, and you could have graphed it. So all the methods would show you those two nice answers. I said I was going to show 2 examples. I think one's enough. But if you want to try a problem on your own, I won't post any practice problems, but you can do this one.